Lisa Loeb, this goes back to about 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
This is just one session. Can you share that? And then I have some Lisa Loeb questions here.
Okay, modern session, like example A almost, right? Because it's like this friend of mine is a producer and he's working with her, and he calls me one day and says, "Hey, he didn't say who it was. He's like, I've got a song I want you to play on. Can I come to your studio?" Because he knew I had my setup. This is pre-pandemic, obviously, so there could have been an option to do it somewhere else or with her or whatever, but he just was like, "No, let's do this. Like everything else is done already. Let's get your drums on this." And so he came over, and when he got there, he told me who it was for, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is super cool," you know. And I think it was literally just one song, and she was making a children's record at the time. And what was really cool about that was like we finished the song. I didn't hear about it for a while, and then it came out, and then it got nominated for a Grammy. And I'm like, and he sends me a message one day. I'm like, "You're kidding me, really? Like we got nominated?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This is incredible." Like, and then she won, and I was like, "Okay, so this is kind of trippy because like one session I did for 3 hours or whatever it was in my studio one day ends up being on a record that won a Grammy, which is really cool." And on top of that, she was so kind that she bought everybody, because you have to pay for these things that say, you know, Matt Starr participated in the Grammy winning recording of whatever. Anybody who is on a record like that is entitled to order one of those from the Grammy Foundation or whatever. But she like went ahead and ordered one for everybody and then sent it as a gift, which is like super nice. And I need to frame that thing, but I haven't yet. So it was just like an all around really cool experience. And I remember like I posted about it online after it happened, and she like chimed in and said, "Thank you." You know, she's like with gratitude, like, "Thank you so much for playing on this." I'm like, "Thank you so much for having me on it," you know? So she couldn't have been cooler, even though I've never met her in person. And that is kind of like uh, I guess not that unusual of an experience. You know, sometimes the artist just isn't there. They never are there, and they just sign off on it later, you know, and you never meet them. And I haven't met her. I'd love to play with her sometime, you know, and because I always loved her work, you know. So yeah, that's that story. Interesting one.
That's so cool. You can say that your studio where you record drums has produced a Grammy Award winning
Yes.
song from a
Yeah.
Grammy Award winning album. So I went and I listened to the song you played on.
Uh-huh.
That's not just a great kid song. That's a great song, period.
It's a cool song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cool, man. I remember them saying they wanted it to have like a bit of a Beatles-ish sort of flavor to it. That's the one thing I remember about the session itself. And I thought it turned out really cool. And the guy who, I should mention, the producer, his name is Rich Jacques, Jacques. And he's a great songwriter and producer in his own right, and he's been working with Lisa for a long time. And so yeah, thanks to him for involving me in that. It was really cool.
So what's cool is Rich Jacques came up in an interview not long ago
No
because
way.
he worked with Peter Katz, who was a guest on the interview. So I actually reached out to him to say, "Hey, Peter said some nice things about you," and he responded. So
Oh,
it's
that's so
so cool
cool.
to see how the music industry, right?
Isn't that
Everyone's
amazing?
connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Small world, man. Amazing.
Oh, I was going to say that song. So even though it's considered a children's song, and it's because the lyrics are kind of catered towards how, someone that's coming into their own might feel like it's
Yeah.
relatable lyrically to a younger demographic, but it's, it doesn't sound like a kid song where there's like certain kid sounding instruments and all that. It just sounds like a great pop song, and the lyrics
Yeah.
happen to be, for a younger demographic. I just
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to
kind
throw
of
that
cool.
out there.
I wonder if that was her intention, because you're right. It absolutely comes across that way. It's almost like you could listen to it as an adult and still get something out of it, which is great.